Hey there, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I made this fun sort of interactive shaker card using ArtStacks products. Today I'll be using the brand new tissue backgrounds. Now I have the digital version, so mine are printed, meaning I get to foil them. And I'm also going to be using the Tracy Verdugo Under the Sea art stacks. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. You can see off there to my left side that I've got everything all pre-cut out. And I just wanted to show you the ones that I printed. And Heather on the ArtStacks channel has a couple of videos on how you can print your own at home. So I'm not going to spend my time with that, but I will link to the video up there in the little thing. So these are the new ones that are included in the pack. And you'll see that I've printed them on some alternate materials too. And then also included are some of the old ones from some of the old core stacks. So you get quite a variety and some plain tissue to print on. Now, what I could say is that the tissue that they come printed on when you buy the physical pack works far better than this tissue I'm using, which has sort of a coating on it. So it doesn't melt into the paper as well. Now, if you have uncoated tissue, you're golden. I don't. So I just wanted to show you, I printed one on some butcher paper, and then I printed some on vellum, and you could, color it from the back side if you wanted to. I plan on foiling them because I did print them on my laser printer, and this is a specialized vellum that you can foil with. So there's that. And it works great. Then also I wanted to show you, if I can get these apart, I've got all my scraps that I've been working with, and these tend to be really staticky. These are meant to go in the laser printer, and they are also foilable, just like an acetate almost. They're, can't say the words. What are the words? They're transparency film. So, and I'll link everything down below where I got these various items and the things that I'm using here. So let's get these put away. But I wanted to show you the transparency. I just wanted to show it against a plain background so you could see. So those are the transparencies, and then we're going to go ahead and do some foiling here. So I've got all my foiling apparatus, and this is a piece of vellum that I'm going to foil. And I'm just going to lay my foil on here. I'm going to dust off any excess dust that I might have picked up from my desk or anything. And I'm going to go ahead and send that through my Mini Mink. Now with my laser printer, the setting of number 4 works best. This is all going to vary depending on the machine you're using. But so I'm going to do one in vellum, I'm going to do one in tissue, and I'm going to do one in this acetate stuff, because I'm going to be making a layered card, and ultimately I don't end up using the tissue piece. I will use that in a different project though. I'm kind of waiting on my physical pack because I wasn't super happy with how it foiled, or the fact that my personal tissue has that coating on it. And so with that coating, yeah, it doesn't do what I want it to do. But here's this one foiled, and I'm going to check it first, and I can see that it's underfoiled, so I'm going to send it through a second time. So here's the tissue, and I'm happy with the foil pretty much on there, but I'm going to send it through a second time too, and I'm going to put a piece of paper as kind of a shim, or yeah, I'm going to do that without the shim and see if it sticks a little bit better. But what had happened was I had printed that on the rough side of my tissue instead of the smooth side, and so this is why it's underfoiling, which, gives a great grungy look, and I don't mind. But that's not what I'm looking for in this particular project. So here's the one on the acetate, which is just simply gorgeous. And yeah, it's koala transparency film. You want to make sure it says 4 laser printer. and then it'll foil just fine without wrinkling or getting, melty or anything. So I'm sending this one through a second time, seeing if I can't get a better foiling out of it. And then we'll also foil the negative piece here, because I just might use that. And I'm going to use my Crafty Critta. Seems like it's Australia Day here today. I'm going to use my Crafty Critta white toner sheets to foil that onto. So I'm cutting it down because just because it's white doesn't mean it won't stick to your carrier sheet, because it still is toner, and toner is sticky when it gets hot. So I'm just going to go ahead and lay this down onto that sheet and run it through. Let's see if this one did any better. A little bit better. I still have quite a few black spots. Again, because I did this on the rough side instead of the smooth. So lesson learned there. I know it works, I just wasn't paying attention. And here on the vellum, didn't stick that great either. But it's okay, I'm going to use it anyway. And so let's go ahead, and I'm going to turn that back on in case I need it again. Here are some that I have already foiled. And so the beauty of the digital is that you can print it out on any medium or any substrate that you want. Okay, so I have an 11 by 4 1/4 piece of paper, and it is scored at 5 1/2 inches and 2 3/4 inches. So basically scored in half and then in half again on one side. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this down. Make sure it's as even as I can possibly get it for me. I never get anything perfect. I would love to, but yeah, it's not happening. So I'll go ahead and burnish that down with my little bone folder here. And then I'm just going to turn around and fold back this piece right here and also burnish that with my bone folder. Okay, we'll set that aside for a minute, but I'm going to put this is the inner portion. So I foiled with a kind of a coppery colored foil. I just like the color better. And I'm going to stick this down using my ATG gun and just kind of make sure that little side glue portion isn't sticking out, and get it on there as even as I possibly can. Yeah, I kind of wanted a juxtaposition of colors, so I thought the copper color would look really pretty. So I've cut a small circle here that's going to be for the inside, where, you can write your sentiment or decorate or whatever you want to do. And then I've got a piece of watercolor. And the reason I'm using watercolor is because I want it to be nice and sturdy, for one, and for two, I'm going to be using a little water. So, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do some ink blending on here. And I think I'm going to use my GinaK inks. On my prototype, I used my Distress Oxides, but what I'm looking for here is my little sticky mat, but I can't find it. So I'll just pull out my inks and just move on. And I'm going to start with the lightest, which is, what is it? Ocean Mist, yep. And I'll list all the inks that I use down below where you can get them. And I'm just doing a really light blend, so I'm doing an ombre look here. And then we're going to go with the Turquoise Sea. And again, coming from the edge and working my way in. Very light hand here. I don't want any, it wouldn't be the end of the world if I got brush marks, but I prefer not to. And then we'll go in with the Tranquil Teal. This is just a beautiful combination for ocean or watery scenes. Just makes me happy, makes my heart feel happy. So use what ink you have. Use Distress Oxide. Use whatever water reactive ink you have. You want something that's water reactive. Okay, and then we're going to go in with the Blue Raspberry, which still, I feel, is still kind of in the teal range, but not so much. So I'm going to change out brushes because I try to keep one brush just for my teals. I know that's silliness, but it is what it is. And I'll blend that out, and then I'm going to finally go in with the, is that blue jeans? Blue denim at the very bottom. A little bit more, a little bit heavier application. Yeah, I'm loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. If you're watching this in another country, never mind, ignore me. Let me get my mess cleaned up here. Where is my water sprayer? There it is. You ever have that problem? A million times a day, right? So I'm going to wipe up my ink so I don't make a mess here, and then I'm going to spray some more water down. I'm going to grab my fan brush, hope and pray that there's no hidden paint on there. There's a little bit of gold, but that won't hurt anything. And I'm just going to lightly tap. I don't want big chunks. I want small little bubbles. So just light taps, and then I'll grab a paper towel, and I will go ahead and just lift. And there we've got our nice little oceanic bubbles going on. And then I'm going to kick it up a notch with this stencil here that is, let's see, it's Dylusions small stencil. It's called Coins Small. And I really love this stencil because, you know, it's got these kind of wonky circles. And then I'll use some Snow Flurries ink, which is my favorite pigment ink. And I'm sad that that company's out of business because I never got a re-inker for it. And then the little dabber that I'm using is from Simon Says Stamps from their rainbow collection. I bought several of them just for this application, for doing white, because it's small and I don't have to mask anything off because I'm a lazy crafter. There, just get some little bigger bubbles going on in there. And next up, we're going to put our acetate and vellum. So we're going to make like a, I don't know, waves at the bottom of the sea or at the top of the sea, or I don't know, maybe it doesn't make sense. Maybe it doesn't have to. And I'm going to just use glue. It doesn't matter. It's going to dry clear and it's fine. It's not a problem. And I want to make sure that it's glued down so that my shaker bits don't get caught up in it. So I want to make sure that I get everything on the top and bottom. And I'm just going to lay it down on here, and then I'm going to smash that glue in. And see, you can't even really see it. So no big deal, right? And then we'll take our vellum piece. And those were foiled in 2 different color Crafty Critta foils. And do the same thing. I'm just going to put glue, and I'm using Barely Arts glue, by the way. In that glue bottle is not Nuvo, it's Barely Arts. And I'll put it, I think we'll put it right here. Give it a good smash. And there we go. Now all I have to do is trim off the edges. Let's clean off this excess glue so I don't get it all over the rest of my card. And I'll go ahead and trim those edges off, looking for my my non-stick scissors here. These are from Spellbinders. They're great scissors. I think you can find them at Crafty Critta. I'll double check for you, because I know that you know, I'm doing this video for, you know, my channel, but I'm also going to be uploading it to ArtStacks channel, which is, you know, they're an Australian company. So I want to hope that you can get most of the products I'm using in Australia without spending an arm and a leg having it shipped. So I've cut the piece of acetate to the same size as that circle, and I'm just going to kind of clean it off here. And then I'm going to add some anti-static powder, and then I'm going to clean that off because it turns out I didn't like the way that that looked, but that's okay. So I'm going to glue the acetate to the ring that I pre-cut already, and that's how it's going to look. And I'm going to use some tape, some red line tape for this. And I couldn't tell you what brand this is, something I got off of Amazon. And I'm not going to make you watch me tape the whole thing because that just takes too long. So we'll just magically come to the end of the taping where I stick my acetate down. And I'm just going to drop it down onto there carefully so that I don't have any open spaces. Now I know I still have sticky, but that's okay because I'm going to put down my my foam tape. Now this is some 1/4 inch foam tape, so I wanted to make sure when I cut my frame that it was no smaller than 1/4 inch. Let's try and peel this off here. Let's go ahead and get a size on it, and I'll cut out me getting this stuff down too, because yeah, it takes too long. And I'm just gonna get a rough size on it. I'd rather have it too big than too small, because you want to make sure, because we're putting sequins in there, that the whole thing is completely enclosed. And so what I do is I peel some of it off, some of the backer off, so that it bends easier. There we go, that's done. Okay, now cut to the next part. I've got these little fishies that I fussy cut out of the Under the Sea paper. And I'm going to glue them down. So also this I'm doing for the Gather, Seek, Create challenge the first week. So I wanted to hit all the parameters there, and I decided, well, let's just do 2 jobs at once, because remember back then I said I was a lazy crafter. I'm an even lazier video maker. So there's just not enough hours in the day. I don't know where they go. Couldn't be, rewatching Game of Thrones or anything like that. And then I foiled some of the fish because, again, I'm lucky enough to get the digital files as well, as part of the design team. So I get to do these things, and I love it. So I'm going to put a little foiled fish here. And let's grab another foiled one. This one I foiled with gold on vellum. And even with my tweezers, I can't seem to grab that. Oh, where is he going to live? Right about there. I just like the kind of little gold accent on the vellum. So he's sort of like one of those little see-through fish. I know you've seen them. They have some see-through shrimp too, I think. I remember having them when my kids were little. Okay, now we're ready to put in our insides here. And I'm going to grab several different colors of sequins. And I get my sequins from Trinity stamps. Generally, sometimes this calls for confetti. So it just depends. It depends. Depends on who has what on sale and if they have a color that I can't live without. So I'm going with 3 shades of teal sort of here. A light and a medium and a dark, and I'm just putting a little bit. I don't want too many shaker bits. My prototype, I felt like, had too many shaker bits, and it really covered up my beautiful little waves there in the background. And I don't want that. I want to see them. So we'll grab this darkest teal here, which is blue, by the way, which hits the parameter. But I made sure there was blue everywhere. So there's that. And then I've got these little stars, because why not? They're holographic and they're pretty. And you would see stars in the ocean, starfish, right? Well, it's my world anyway, so I'll live it the way I want. Now I'm going to add some of these fish that I fussy cut that are teeny tiny, so that they can be part of the shaker family. And if you think they're hard to pick up, they were even harder to cut out because they're so small. My big old fingers. Yep, want to make sure the foil shiny side is up of the foil. And let's see, do we want one more? Let's make sure everything's kind of moved towards the center there. Yeah, let's grab this little scaly one. And maybe another one if it's small enough. I only want small ones in there. But maybe we'll let this big guy go in there. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, that's enough fish in there. And now I'm going to put my shaker panel down, and I'm going to stand up so that I can get it on here straight. Hold my breath. 1, 2, 3, and commit. All right, it's down. The hard part's over, friends. And I've got a fishy stuck to the shaker part, and that's okay. He's cute there. I don't mind. So the next thing we want to do is we want to do some things to our card base itself. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be gluing down this circle and then doing some trimming. So I'm just going to glue down half the circle, and I want to get a nice line of glue down on this folded edge so that, you know, I'm certain that it doesn't try to pop up on me. And being pretty generous with the glue here. I want this to be even, so I want it to line up with the edge of the paper there on all sides. Now, if you cut your paper and missed a little bit, then you're just going to have to trim that off, because I'll be cutting parts off. And here I'm just kind of pushing and making sure my glue is all good and spread out on there. And then we've got that, and then I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim this edge around the circle. And see how I just cut that little extra bit off where I don't have it on this side. It's okay. I don't mind. It's a handmade card. And then I'm going to trim, and I'm going to do it carefully and slowly, because I can't tell you how many times I end up cutting the part I didn't want cut because I didn't take my time. So I'm just going to take my time and cut out this excess here. And you don't have to do that. You can leave it, but I just think it gives a better impact if you cut it off. Just taking it real slow. And by the way, the foil piece that I have put for my background piece on there, I did some ink blending with the same colors of ink on that because it's the white Crafty Critta. You can ink blend over it. So now I'm going to put down my little place where you can write your sentiment or decorate some more. And I'm just laying it down face up, basically, onto behind my other circle, because I want to make sure that it's behind it, that it can't be seen. And then I'll add some glue, and then I'll just close my card down on it. And voila, it's covered. Okay, cool beans. Now you can write on either space. You can decorate the other spaces if you want or not. All that's left to do here is glue down. Now I didn't put a sentiment on this, and I'm not going to, but I'll show you on my other one what I did. I just felt like I wanted to keep this one a little bit cleaner. The other one is my prototype, so just so you know, as a video maker, I do a practice, you know, especially if I'm going to do something that I'm not super, you know, that I haven't done before. I'll do a practice piece just to make sure I learn from my mistakes. And that's pretty much it. So there's the shaker card. And I'm not going to be able to get that fish out of there, but there goes another fish. I had fun with the fish idea. And you could glue another circle back there if you... No, you can't glue another circle back there, but because you need this to be able to fold. But on this one, I wrote the words to Jeremiah was a bullfrog, and you can see I've got too many shaker bits. You can't see my under the sea. I wasn't crazy about my little background. So I do love this background, and you'll see that in a future project. That's the negative. So I've got all my little pieces stuck on there, and she's ready to go. And it will stand up nicely, and it will go in the mail nicely. And I put the little fishies. You can write a message. You can glue a sentiment. Do you, boo? I hope you like this video. I appreciate it that you came by, and here's some still photos of the card just so that you can kind of see it while it's holding still, standing up, so on and so forth. I appreciate it if you leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and take care. Bye-bye.